baby. 3, 2, 1.
ゆうこ、勉強ばっかりしてないでどんどん遊ばないとほらほら遅れるじゃないの。とたまには言われてみたいよね。遊びましょう。
楽しいゲームがいっぱい。
Hello guys, Tunia back again. This week we're going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to go proper old school and play the SG-1000. This is a little bit older than I would normally play games, to be honest, but I've been playing a few of these games lately, so I thought I'd do the 10 best games that I have found on the machine, or 10 of the games worth playing. The SG-1000 was Sega's original games console. They did two versions of it. They did a Mark II, which looks a little bit different. And they also did like a computer. I think it was called the SC-3000. The computer was. It was based on the 1000. It came out in Japan on the same day as the Famicom, the NES. The machine was definitely underpowered compared to the NES. And at the beginning of the NES life, there was a lot of single screen games like this on there as well, but it soon became apparent the NES was a much better console. The SG-1000, Sega were having a little bit of the arcades weren't quite so popular at the time, so they decided to make a games console. They did port a few of their arcade games at the time over to the SG-1000, with I think Congo Bongo was out day one. Just a weird sort of like isometric slash style Donkey Kong slash game. Didn't do particularly well in the arcades apparently, but the conversion on here is okay, but it's only got 2 levels out of the 4 levels of the arcade. Seems a lot of the home conversions did. But Sega eventually after this then, they made the SG-3000, which is pretty much the Master System. They did actually release the Master System again in Japan, which was just like the SG-3000 in a slightly different box, basically. But so let's get into it then. Let's play the 10 best games that I found on the machine, or 10 games definitely well worth playing if you're going to check this out. I am playing in an emulator this time, unfortunately. I don't normally do that. I normally play on real hardware, but it's either have an SG-1000 or have a Master System EverDrive and play this, because these can be played on the Master System. But unfortunately I don't have any of them, so I am reverted to playing in an emulator. But you know, hopefully it should be fine, and it's I can imagine this is probably emulated absolutely perfect. It can't be too hard to emulate the SG-1000. So let's play the first game. It's the arcade version of Bomb Jack, which you see playing in the background. Bomb Jack, popular game at the time, not really my bag to be honest, but we're gonna have a go with it. This conversion actually is pretty good. The idea of this game is basically collect all the bombs. You can jump. There's 2 different types of jump in this game. There's a low jump and there's a high jump. If you hold down the button, you float down as well, which helps you get the bombs better. Plus, you can also cut your height of the jump off. The idea is basically to collect all the bombs on the stage. If you collect the little fuzzy bombs, like below me, but there, if you collect them all in order, you get a bigger bonus. So you get more points. The power-up icon, which I just connected there, allows me to kill the enemies on screen, which comes in very useful later on. Because a lot of the enemies will be right in the way where the bombs are, like you can see there. Oh, that was lucky. So they do tend to cover a lot of the bombs. The one thing I will say, a lot of enemies are red and the bombs are red, which can be a little bit of a problem. Oh, I should have pressed the button to cancel my jump. Can be a little bit of a problem sometimes when the enemies appear where the bombs are. But it doesn't take too much. You get used to what that actually looks like. I was hoping to get that power up and kill some of the enemies on screen. It probably could have done with making the enemies a different colour. For the SG-1000, I think the graphics in this are actually quite nice. They're quite big and chunky, and it's got some pretty decent music. Some pretty decent sound effects. This game is pretty difficult. The Bomb Jack, it's easier than the arcade one, I would say. The arcade one is pretty solid. The NES also got a conversion of this game called Mighty Bomb Jack, which is like I think it's like a remix, completely new game basically. Very difficult game. But if you I don't know if you will watch Game Center CX. If you don't watch Game Center CX, you should do, because it's pretty damn fantastic, and it has been translated, and it's pretty much the best game show. Arena on there actually plays this game, Mighty Bomb Jack, and finishes it all the way through, and does the last section of the game live, which is very difficult indeed. I couldn't finish that game. I've played it, it's solid. He's not particularly the best guy in the world at gaming, but he tries. He definitely keeps trying. He's pretty great at Arena is. So that's a tip for you guys. If you ain't seen it, look up Game Center CX. There is quite a lot of episodes actually on YouTube. Actually, people have dumped the English translations of them. Tricky one to get into, that is. You've got to like cancel your jump. Yeah, you've got to cancel your jump and like float into the sides, which makes it pretty hard. There's a few shoot-ups on this machine as well, and there's a few of them actually pretty decent. Obviously, expectations with the SG-1000 have got to be a bit lower, because it is a console from 1983. Oh damn, he fell on my head. Watch out for that. And this is where I need this. Damn, I should have cancelled. I need that power up icon to get the bombs over there. Right then guys, so that's Mighty Bomb Jack. It's a pretty cool conversion of the arcade game, plays really well. I'm not sure exactly how many levels there are to it. I think there's 50. But yeah, if you've got an SG-1000 or you just want to check it out in an emulator or play it on the Master System, wherever, definitely check out this conversion. It's pretty nice. So let's move on to the next game. Right guys, the second game we're playing on the SG-1000 is Star Force. This is a conversion of Tekken's arcade game, which is a pretty nice arcade game. Pretty good shooter, which Hudson Soft used in their first Caravan tournament around Japan, and then went on to make the Star Soldier games, which pretty much, they must have taken a lot of ideas from this game, I would say, especially the 2-minute and 5-minute modes. This is a pretty nice arcade game, which is quite addictive to play. They do have an arcade club. I normally like to put a nice high score on it when I go there, but last time I went there, someone put a pretty monster high score on there, which I couldn't beat. So that's out to that person, whoever you were. But yeah, you pretty much vertical scrolling. You get these tiles come up on the floor, and you can shoot some of the tiles for bonus points. You shoot lots of waves of enemies. Each wave of enemies has their own sort of movement patterns. You can learn each wave of enemies. They're all a little bit different. There is ways of scoring bonuses in this. There is a mid-level sort of ship that comes on every now and then, and if you manage to shoot the core before the whole ship comes together, you can get a bonus off it. Quite a big bonus. There is one power-up in this game, which is an auto-fire power-up, and that's it basically. So you just work your way up, shooting as much stuff as possible. Here we go. Didn't get it. If you get that fast enough, you can get a really awesome bonus. The one enemy type I don't like, that is, the one that comes on the screen and shoot across from the bottom. They're really difficult to kill. Right, there's the power up. This gives me full auto. There is bosses in this game, as you'll see here. If you manage to kill the boss at the end of the level, you get a really nice bonus. If you go one side of the boss will automatically always shoot the other side. So you can basically manipulate it to go each way. I'm not sure exactly how many levels there are to this game. I'm not sure whether it's just unlimited, to be honest. lots of hidden bonuses and tiles which I shot up there. It does play quite nice on the SG. The one thing I will say about it is the main ship, my only gripe is the main ship is a little bit slow compared to the original and the arcade game. Ooh, and the NES game. Apart from that, quite a nice playing shmup on the SG-1000. If you do have an SG-1000, it's definitely worth picking up. If you just get your head run the scrolling, you're fine. This auto fire is it's well handy. Hate them enemies. It does get quite addictive, this game does, to keep getting high scores. The SG-1000 does have quite a few shmups on it actually. I think there's quite a few pretty half decent ones as well. Nice, that's 2 levels down. Ooh. Oh, they come back around. Nightmare. That's my auto fire gone. Shoot this screen from here, it does blow up, ooh. It does blow up everything on screen, I think. It takes quite a few shots to kill. So one enemy type I really hate, the one that shoots across the screen. You gotta be in a nice position to get them. You gotta at least kill about half of the wave. Otherwise you get pretty sort of screwed over. That's it, that's how you want to do it. This enemy type, you've got to shoot them right in the middle, so it's best to get them right in front of you. Because they fire off these bullets when you actually shoot them. Oh, that was a bit fast. Couldn't quite get out of the way of that then. All going down in area 3. I should have gone left. Maybe I should have stayed right, I think. But anyway, that's Star Force, guys. It's a pretty nice shoot 'em up on the SG. So let's move on to game number 3. Right, guys, this is Ninja Princess. This is a vertical scrolling, I know, sort of ninja shmup, very same as the Ninja on the Mass System. This is quite a cool little game, actually. I quite like it. You play like a mystical ninja sort of farmer thing, and you basically scroll up screen. One button always shoots forward, the other button shoots any direction you push. This game does play quite well. Basically, you work your way up, killing as many ninjas as you can. You gotta be careful because some of them will jump out on you. Different parts of the game as well will make you go slower. When you walk through water, you go really slow. This does have sort of bosses as well, and power-ups. Here we go. There's a boss coming up soon, I think. Well, of course. At least you can scroll back in this game, otherwise it would be pretty hard to kill some of these bosses. First boss done. There's quite a lot of levels to this game as well. Very similar with the map screen as to Ninja on the Mass System as well. Ninja must be like a sequel to this, I think. Or at least it should be a sequel to this. That one there, you gotta watch him, he jumps off the building, that is. In this game, you don't want to walk in the water because it makes you go very slow. Oh god, I'm in trouble. Oh, that was lucky. Really lucky. Yeah, I quite like this game, it's pretty decent. Oh! Damn, I jumped in the sand. Shouldn't have gone in the sand. I'm gonna go up the other side because walking up there makes you go really slow, and there seems to be a lot of enemies on this side. Ninja on the roof now in a second. Get up. This is a pretty cool little ninja shmup. Ah, no, ninjas got me from the side. Damn ninjas. Oh, that was a bit unfortunate then. Right, okay then. Let's take my time here then. Just gonna back off, I think. It's cool, it tells you how many shots you got and your hit ratio and how many shots you fired and everything, which is very cool. We got little dog things that turn into little guys when you shoot them, I think, when they look at them. I'm glad they went with screen by screen scrolling in this game. It does make this a bit nicer to play when it's like that. It's quite one thing I will say about SG-1000, some of the games on there, they are really playable. They do play quite nice, they got pretty nice controls. There'll be a boss. Ooh, you can't shoot that one's ninja stars. So that's Ninja Princess, guys. I quite like this game is pretty cool. Probably I will end up playing this game a little bit more. It's pretty nice, and I would say the Ninja on the Master System is it's pretty much the same sort of game, really. It's just maybe it's a sequel to it. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to look it up. But anyway, guys, let's go on to the next game. Let's have a racing game this time. Alright, guys, first racing game we're playing on here, which is Monaco GP. This is a conversion of the original arcade Monaco GP. This is an odd one. To select a difficulty level, you just got to time your button press on here. So we were on level 1 because it does get quite tricky. Basically, you push forward to get faster on this game, and you've got a jump button like that, which is unusual for a racing game. Ooh. And spy under style, you basically work your way up the screen. The further you go, the more points you get. There is various obstacles you've got to dodge, like you've got the corners. All the cars move out the way for that. There's the water level, which is pretty much uncontrollable, but you can jump over it. It's quite an interesting idea with the night. The faster you go, the more points you get. Oh, didn't jump in time. It's a pretty interesting racing game in the SG-1000. Pretty good. I wouldn't have been too upset if I'd had this in 1983. Yeah, Monaco was very strange, isn't it? It started off like this and then turned into a proper F1 racing game later on. A big upgrade. Massive difference between the first game and the second game in the arcades. Oh, of course. The difficulty level 3 on this is quite hard. There's a lot more cars on screen at once then. does make this game a lot harder. Ooh. Oh, that was lucky. Oh, I forgot about the bridge. I'm not sure if there's an actual ending to this game. Ah. How hard those bits are. One side has got obstacles, the other side it hasn't normally. Oh, managed to dodge all the cars then. Ooh. Don't have much time to get out of the way of them when you're playing in fast mode, but there. Ooh, well, that was lucky. Come on. Oh, also reminds me of Spy Hunter quite a bit. They did quite a few games like this. Jumped way too soon then. You got to sort of almost time those jumps a little bit. Ah, thought I was past it. See if I can make it over there. First one. Ooh, just about made that then. Ooh, over there. Ah, I jumped over the bridge and got hit by a car. Game over. So that's Monaco GP. That's a pretty nice little game. So let's go on to the next one. Well guys, we got a really nice version of Qbert coming up here. This actually wasn't for the SG-1000, it was for the Othello Multivision. Pretty much what Sega did, they tried to make the SG-1000 into like a standard like the MSX was, and like PCs are now, but they failed on it. And there was a few officially licensed clones that came out, and the Othello Multivision was one of them. And this game was released on that. I am not entirely sure whether it was on cartridge, but I'm assuming seeing it's compatible, it was probably a cartridge game. But I could be completely wrong. But let's start this up. I say, this is a pretty nice version of Qbert. I think if you like the arcade game of Qbert, you're probably going to like this. Qbert is quite a famous arcade game. I thought I'd have enough time in. Quite a famous arcade game. Basically, you've got to change all the tiles on a level to the new colour. And you complete that level. You got lots of aliens trying to stop you and little monsters and stuff. Qbert is featured in loads of films. And you see pictures of Qbert everywhere. It's quite a famous character. And this is a pretty fantastic version of Qbert. As you can see, some of those enemies are actually changing the colours of the tiles. Oh, I got killed. This is a little bit of a weird one. Damn. Oh shit, limped off. Booby. Give that another go. I remember seeing this back in the day in the arcade all over the place. Qbert. Yeah, this level. It was never particularly that great at Qbert, but oh damn. You little swine, isn't he? Changing the colour of the tiles back. Trap myself at the bottom of the screen then. So the controls on this, you do have to push the diagonals to move. It's not up, down, left and right. It's a diagonal movement game. Yeah, did it. Oh, it does become a quite addictive little game, Qbert. I say this is a pretty... Ooh, snake. A pretty nice conversion of the arcade game. Nice. Oh, I trapped myself in a little bit. Oh. Damn it, I jumped off the edge. Well, that's Qbert, guys. As you can see, that's a very nice conversion of the arcade game. And plays really well, actually, as well. So, let's move on to the next game. Right then, the next one's another shoot 'em up. This one's called Starjacker. It's quite an interesting one. So we'll start this up. In this one, you get 4 ships, and they're basically much your weapons. You can't basically control all 4 ships at once. You can't go too far back in the stage because your ships end up at the bottom of the stage. So it does make it a little bit difficult if one of your ships get hit. Like that, and you lose firepower basically. And so basically what you do, you work your way up, you bomb and fire all the way through this level. You get to a boss at the end. If you manage to kill the boss, he zooms you past the last section of the level back to your mothership, and then pretty much you rinse and repeat. This game does play quite nice, and it's a little bit unusual. And it is a pretty decent shmup. There's the boss. If I can manage to kill this boss, which I didn't. Definitely got to be careful of your ship. You lose your firepower. Little tiny green ships are a bit of a nightmare. I think I made it back to my mothership. This is where I get restock now. This is another one that unfortunately suffers from lack of ability to scroll backgrounds very well, but you know, oh, I got hit again. Apart from that, it's a pretty decent shoot 'em up. It's harder and harder. Yeah, cool. If you manage to kill him, you get this like boost past the last section of the level, back to your mothership. It was quite difficult with 2 ships. Dodge them things. They fire a lot of bullets. They do. Why not shoot those ships? Oh, nice to kill it. Surprised I killed it then. Especially with the one ship. It's probably going to be quite difficult now with 2 ships. Yeah, I'm not going to fire against them things. They fire a lot of bullets. Crashed right into it then. Ooh, that was close. Very close. Ooh. Come on. Ooh, for boss. There we go. Oh, it's not bad. Could be better. Oh, don't want to shoot that one. Oh, dead. My last ship. Tricky when you got one ship. Can't particularly fly very fast. When am I going to get to a boss? Oh shit. I want to fire on that one. Ooh, that was close. It's a pretty decent run. So that is Starjacker. That's a pretty decent shmup, actually, on the SG. So let's have another shmup. There's a 3D slash shmup on the SG, so we'll do that one next. Right, guys, this is Zoom 909. This is a sort of semi 3D sort of shmup. So we'll start this up. It's not me playing. Here we go. And then, so it puts you in a ship, flying down a sort of half tunnel, pretty much like Star Wars does in the Star Wars games in Star Wars Arcade. Then you got the trench flying, and in the end you fire a missile into the Death Star to destroy it. On this you don't do that, mind, but you pretty much shoot all the enemies that come down the screen, you dodge walls that pop up. And you've got to collect fuel in this game as well. Your fuel pretty much is your life as well, so if I get hit and blow up, it will take a big chunk of fuel off me. The idea is work your way through 4 different type of levels. On the 4th level then there's a boss. Kill the boss and the game repeats. The classic sort of 4 different type stages which a lot of games did back in the day. This one does play quite cool. And it's quite smooth as well. That's it, that's the first stage done. We've got to be careful on this stage. There's these like little purple enemies that show up. And they sort of like zoom across the level at you. It's a good idea to try, there's one of them there, try and kill all them because they can hit you quite easy. Gotta dodge those missiles. Yeah, I hate those purple enemies. There we go. Third level is really different. It's like a top-down perspective. Very much sort of like Thunder Force 2. As you'll see in a minute. Here's the third level. I got no control of momentum on this level, so you literally just got to fire on this next level. So you fire and you pick up the fuel, and if you pick up the power-ups, which gives you a shield. So the idea, I think, is just shoot as much crap as you can, and pick up fuel, pick up power-ups. Like I said, there's no control in this thing. Yep, power-ups give you the invincibility. That would be the power-up and I'm going to die. Yep. It's like quite a different level compared to the first two levels. That's it. Here we go, first boss is coming up now. That's it, that's dead. The starship looks very much like the Star Destroyers from Star Trek. Star Trek? Star Wars. Just little sort of extra sort of wings on it. Rinse and repeat now basically, but just harder. Ah. So it's a pretty decent game this is. It's not gonna last you a long time, but you know, by the time it came out, this is pretty decent. Well, a lot more walls now, as you may notice. There's a lot more enemies as well. I wonder if there's an optimum level where you don't get what it gets as fast as it gets. I haven't managed to get to the round, well, get to the end of round 2 so far. Usually die before I actually get there. The top down level is quite difficult. Come on, ooh, that was close. That's going to be like a big chunk of fuel. They were pretty fast then. There's a lot more enemies. Man. Uh-oh. My fuel's looking pretty miserable. Oh, it's right at the end as well. I was lucky. Right, this is the level I haven't managed to get past on level 2, because getting those power-ups is quite hard. There's not very many of them. Oh, I need a power-up. Tricky. Oh, there's a power up there as well. Solid that round is, really hard. But anyway, that's Zoom 909. Pretty interesting little game. So let's move on to the next one. Well, guys, there was some Korean games made for the SG-1000, and I don't think they were official from what I can see. But there was a few games ported to it. Apparently this is the MSX version of Circus Charlie, which goes to what I was saying earlier, it's pretty much like an MSX, this machine. So yeah, Circus Charlie. Circus Charlie is an old arcade game which would work rather well on modern smartphones. Circus Charlie is actually a pretty cool arcade game. You have to time your jumps and do different sorts like circus tricks basically, work your way through. It's quite a tricky game as well. Can take quite a bit of practice. He's on top of his little lion. You've got to jump through the hoops on the first level. So Circus Charlie's a pretty decent arcade game. Sort of thing that would work lovely on a mobile. Oh. There is a version of this on the NES as well, which is pretty good. This is like your sort of like circus version of track and field, essentially. That's the first level done. The thing gets harder and harder as you get through it. It gets quite tricky, but jump over the monkeys. Monkeys are hard. Let's continue, see if I can just do this monkey level. Sneaky monkey, move backwards. This game does have a little bit of a sort of addictive factor to it as well. I can't walk back for too long. Yeah, there was quite a few Taiwanese games. I can't get a lot of them to work on the emulator. A lot of them just crash. We tried them on the Mega SG as well, and they crash on there as well. Yeah, just meant a little small hop would have been quite nice over there. You got to be careful with these buttons. You got a little tap, and a bigger tap will sort of do a big jump. But it's quite easily to press the wrong button to tap. I think I should have just carried on running then. Monkeys. That's it. Determined to get past this level now. Sneaky that was. Oh, that was lucky. It. I'm past it. Done it. Finally. It can get quite addictive, Circus Charlie. This level's very difficult. Oh. Jump is very sensitive. I want to get past this level though. Good in two-player Circus Charlie. Sort of going against each other on this. I didn't want to do a big jump. So easy to do a big jump on this version. Oh, I needed to roll it along just a little bit more. This bit's pretty hard. Failing pretty terrible. Come on. I'm no good at Circus Charlie. I think we've figured that one out. Ah, big jump. I want to do a small jump. Let's give it one last try. Ah, I thought that gap. See, I thought that gap would be enough. One just small jump, small jump. Ah, but Circus Charlie anyway. Circus Charlie is a pretty cool game, even though that, as you can see, I'm pretty rubbish at it. But it's quite a good game in two-player. They did actually release Hypersports on there as well by Konami, but I can't quite figure out how it works. The first one is you dive in, but I don't know, I'm not showing it because I can't figure out how it works. So let's go on to the next game. Right then, we would be about showing Sega's own Zaxxon on the SG-1000. So be prepared for terrible scrolling, but this game does play quite nice actually. For the arcade, I say if you've never played Zaxxon, I think it's one of the original isometric style. It's a bit of an angle shooters in the arcade. It's quite a hard game because of the perspective does put you off. But this is quite a nice looking conversion of the arcade one. Oh, dead. You get extra points for shooting them things, which maybe I shouldn't have gone to try and shoot, but there you go. So you can adjust your height up and down. I quite like the end of the level there. There's a cool mix of colours they did there to make the end of the level look pretty good. Right, now I can go for it. Yeah, you basically shoot everything on the levels. This is very reminiscent of what Viewpoint did on the Neo Geo years after this game. You can't fly up and down on Viewpoint. You're pretty much stuck on the floor. Zaxxon was quite an interesting looking arcade game at the time when it came out. I don't think anything had ever done anything like it. And the arcade, it's got like a flight control stick. That's how you control it. It's good, but it is quite a hard game these days. Oh, I'll go up. Gotta get over this wall. Ooh, I was lucky. I remember playing this game a lot on the Atari 800 XL I used to have. I remember it being a decent version of this, but you know, rose tinted glasses might be kicking in, I don't know. Ooh, that was lucky. Just missed the satellite then. It's quite cool the way the ship zooms in a little bit. It gets a little bit smaller there when it's flying off the screen. So now we've done our bit, we're back to another level. I'm a little bit faster. Faster. Oh, forgot to go get You gotta shoot these things for fuel in this game, I forgot about that. It's very hard to deal with the scroll in these games these days, but also that's the charm of them, as they get blown up by a rocket. Job I didn't go down there. I think if the SG was able to scroll, oh, that's gonna kill me. If it was able to scroll better, it would have been a better machine. I think it would have held up a lot nicer. It does have nice, nice colours and stuff like that going on. But there you go. Well, I saw into the last game, which is probably one of the better games on the machine. It's a very interesting game, and I think the next game is a bit of a hidden gem. So here we go. Right, guys, Rock and Bolt. This is definitely a bit of a hidden gem, I think. This is a puzzle game. As far as I know, it only ever came out in the MSX and the Commodore 64. I could be wrong. I've never seen this game before, and it's quite an interesting idea. I don't think I've ever played a puzzle game quite like it. So you're this little sort of engineer guy, and you've got to lock all these moving plates in place with bolts. You don't need to use 2 bolts on each one of them. Basically, the first level allows you to lock all these bolts, and it doesn't require you to lock them in any particular order. You can just lock them whatever order you want, no problems at all. Then when you come down to, once you've locked them all in place, it cost me $15 to actually do that. So that's my wages, and that decides how much the bolts cost me to put in. So I think you've got to work it out. Obviously you get paid more than actually you're using. Right then, the second time round you get the same level again, but what makes this interesting is that, see the pattern down on the bottom right? You have to lock all these bolts, these plates in on that pattern. So and you get a certain time limit to do it. So you can use 2 bolts in these plates, which locks them permanently in place, but they do start flashing after a while. I'm not quite sure exactly why they flash after a while. Right, so that's the first one. It's a very similar pattern. Here we go in. If I lock that one there, so that's the same as the pattern there. You go back in now, and it only cost me $3.75 to lock them so far, and my wages are way more. What have I done wrong? This one. It's got to be locked up there. Hang on, so I've done this wrong. So quite nice graphics in this game as well. So you're going to have to basically lock that down there. This is where it gets a bit tricky. Right, that should do it now, I think. Yeah, that's it. So nice and simple, but you can imagine how complicated this game gets. It gets multi-screened as well. So same plan as before, you can pretty much lock these plates in whichever way you want. Bit of an odd one, you can lock him in any way you want from the start. I don't think that that does affect the pattern at all. Right. Nice, get a nice big wage for that. It's quite an interesting little puzzle game this is, and I think it definitely is a bit of a hidden gem. I've never seen this game before in my life. Right, now we have to lock him in this exact pattern. So, right, here we go. That's got to go like that. This one's got to lock in there. Right, where's that one got to lock? That's got to lock to there. That one's got to lock like that. Problem is, I need that to get past. This is where it gets tricky, trying to figure it out. Right, this one's got to lock there, I think. Right. That looks like the pattern. Yeah. I say the Commodore 64 version apparently looks pretty similar to this version. What's quite nice about this game, it works really well because it's literally on one screen. Here we go, we've got a multi-screened level now. Go on the second screen. Right. Can't go back though. So now I've done that, I should be able to, I won't be able to, get myself back. Right, here we go. Right, now this is where it's going to get pretty complicated. Right, now I've got to do this pattern. Here we go in. That one's got to lock in. Is that one got to lock in there? Does the pattern change? Yes, it does. Right. Okay. So that one's got to be like that. That one's going to have to lock in there. Right, okay, that one's got a lock in there. That one's got a lock like that. I'm not sure whether that bolt is gonna break on there. I've got to lock that one in there. We've got to be careful about this, you need to be able to get back. So that's that. That one's got a lock there. That one's got a lock like so. That one's got to go there. See, this is where it gets complicated. That one has got to go up, it's got to lock over here. Somehow, I need to... See, now we're in complications. Yeah, I can't work it out now. How the hell am I going to do this? Right, let's see if I can grab... Right, okay, that's going to be... Right. Right, okay. I need to come down there, lock that in there. So... I need to lock that like... that, do I? No. Okay, I think I may have it. How the hell do I get back? Now I gotta log that one in there. Alright, I see. I will lock that like that. I'll lock that like that. So I can lock that like that. How the hell am I going to do this now? We're out of time. Second life. So that's locked in place. That one just needs to go over. This one's got to go over here. Actually, I think I got it. And then just walk on it. Lock that one into place. Jump on there. Lock that. Hopefully. Hey, there you go. You can see how cunning this game is actually going to get. I'm only on level 3 and it's starting to get a bit of a head killer already. The same as you got now is a massive level. I'm not going to play any more of this because we'll be on this for ages. So that one is Rock and Bolt, and it's definitely a bit of a hidden gem, I think, Rock and Bolt. It looks quite cool, and it's quite a unique puzzle game, I have to admit. I don't think I've ever played a puzzle game quite like it. So it's definitely a pretty nice game. So that's the 10 games on the SG-1000 that are worth playing. There are a few other games there. There's a few Taiwanese made games that are worth playing, but I think those pretty much the 10 of the best games I've come across so far. So I didn't think the SG-1000 there was anything actually worth playing on it because it was a little bit old, but I think I'm definitely wrong. There definitely is a few games which are quite good fun on there. So hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I'll come back next week with something else. So see you then. Bye now.